Hi, good morning. It's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine, and I am here with a live Tea and Techniques episode today. And today I am going to feature the watercolor spritz technique, is what I'm calling it. And here is the card we are going to make. And it does feature the Pretty Parasol stamp set and the umbrella punch, which are both retiring. And I believe everything else I used is carrying over. So let me show you the stamp set, Pretty Parasol. It's in the current annual catalog, 2020 to 21. And I'm not going to use it, but there's another stamp set that coordinates with the punch under my umbrella, and both of these stamp sets are retiring, so I wanted to give them a feature this morning. Good morning, Tammy. Thanks for tuning in this morning. So this card isn't hard, but there's a whole bunch of different pieces to it, so I'm just going to go over, and I did do some of the punching and die cutting to just save time on the video this morning. So I'm just going to point my camera down, find myself in my feed. Hopefully I get some more people on here. I know I started a little bit late this morning, so kind of getting everything together. It's been a busy week. We had a mini convention virtual yesterday with Stampin' Up corporate for the Boston area, so it was super fun. I think there was about 150 or so of us on Zoom together, and it was really, actually what I loved the most is that they kept giving us breakout rooms so we could chat with each other and get tips from each other, which was really awesome. But of course we got training on the new catalog that starts in about 2.5, 3 weeks, May 4th. So I had to also feature this stamp set because of course it's April, and April showers bring May flowers. So I'm going to point my camera down and we'll get started here. Okay, so I just want to find myself in my feed. So again, here's the card. It's not going to be hard, but there's going to be a bunch of steps, and I'm featuring Pretty Parasol stamp set. So let's jump right in. So first I'm going to do my watercolor spritz technique, and I did do a couple earlier, so because you're going to have to let them dry. So I'm just going to bring over my Pierce mat because this is a photopolymer stamp set, and let me tell you about the watercolor paper. I'm using the Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and it comes 5 by 7. So what I have done is I've cut it up into 2.5 by 3.5 pieces. So I thought I had 4. I think I do. Well, anyways, you kind of get the idea. I took a 5 by 7 and I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half again. So I get 4 pieces. And this is just to save on this paper. Good morning, Janine. Thanks for tuning in. You had on tour yesterday too. I loved it too. We're not supposed to say too much, so I know there's still a couple more to go, and so I want to be respectful of that. But I'm also going to bring over a paper towel just to protect my surface. So what I'm using is the Stampin' Spritzer, and I just have regular tap water inside of it. And I'm actually going to stamp first, but there's a couple different ways you can do this. So I'm going to stamp first with my little umbrella punch, my umbrella stamp. But I want to look at my punch. So the umbrella here kind of goes sideways. So because I want my paper to go into the punch after I stamp, I want to kind of stamp sideways. Wow. I'm going to take a sip of tea. So I want to stamp sideways. So I'm going to orient my stamp the way the punch orients. And I have all these little pieces flying out because I've been stamping and punching away this morning. So I'm going to do 2. I'm just going to kind of flip over and do 1 on this side too. And then I'm going to spritz right after I stamp with my spritz. And you'll see it kind of gives this cool watercolor effect. And I can actually even move some of the water around a little bit and say I want a little bit more. So it gives a fun watercolor effect. And now you just gotta kind of put it aside to dry. I also like to spritz the back because see, it's starting to curl the paper and I want my paper to kind of flatten out. So I spritzed away. I'm gonna put this to the side. And I did a couple earlier. So here's a couple I did earlier. And so when it dries, you get this kind of cool effect, and then you can kind of punch out, and I just punched one out already. So that is fun. And then I also used the under my umbrella, and for this one, I actually wet the paper first with my spritzer. So I just spritzed the paper, and then I stamped with the large umbrella, and I stamped full strength and then off once and off again to get a lighter effect. So here's another idea with your watercolor paper, but I really think it's great to cut it up, and then this could be like a layer on the card. So these I punched out, but you could put a layer and put another layer across the top. So that gives you another idea with the watercolor paper. You only get, I think it's about 10 or so sheets in the package. So let me grab it really quick. So it comes in a package like this, and let's see, it doesn't even say. So yes, you get 10 sheets in the package. So to cut it up 2.5 by 5.5, you're saving on your paper. So I'm gonna come over and do the rest of my stamping. So I just have a piece of basic white that is a half by 3. And I'm just gonna do the sentiment while I have the pierce mat here. It says, "Thank you for being my sunshine." So put that to the side, and then I'm ready to put my layers together. So let's close up my ink pad. So I have a whole bunch of pieces. Let's do all the umbrellas first. So I did punch out I'm using the smaller umbrella. So I punched out 2 with the True Love Designer Series paper. And one of the fun facts we learned, I'll share this because I don't think it's giving anything away, but this paper, the True Love from the January to June mini catalog, it's all black and white, and it's been one of the top 3 sellers from the January to June mini catalog so far. So, hey, good morning, Sharon. Thanks for tuning in. So I don't think I'm giving anything away that people probably didn't already hear at On Tour, but so yeah, this paper's been super popular, one of the top 3 sellers for like embellishments. They lumped everything together, paper and embellishments. So let's see, I hope I have all my pieces. I have some of my umbrella little bottoms, and I want to show you what I did for these, is that I put adhesive on the back from our adhesive sheets. So my black is 1.5 by 4, and then I cut a piece of adhesive sheet to 1.5 by 4, and I'm just gonna peel the backing. I'm just gonna use my fingernail. You can use like your take your pick tool for this too, and this is probably the hardest part, peeling this and then peeling it off the little umbrella bottom. Okay. Whoops. So there's my sticky part. And I'm just gonna put it on. And see, these already have adhesive on the back. So what I did was let me show you on the card. So I put these going one way, the flowers, and then I put the watercolored one going the opposite direction. So depending on how you want this, I guess I have to do one. Well, we'll see what happens. Depending on how you want it, you'll do adhesive up or adhesive down. Okay, and there it is. You'll get all these little pieces going everywhere, which is normal. Okay, so I ended up, see, I have 3, 2 go one direction and 1 goes the other direction. So I'm ready to start adhering my layers. And I'm missing my designer paper. Okay, this is what happens when you're live. I'm missing one of my layers. So maybe it's underneath something. Okay, so I did the same designer series paper, the floral, on the opposite side. It is this cute diagonal layer. So I cut these out with the stitch shaped dies, the stitched rectangle dies. So the designer series paper is 3 by 4.5. And then I did a basic black layer too. And the basic black with the stitched rectangle is 3.5 by 5. So I'm just gonna start by layering these up with, thank you Sharon, I'm using liquid glue. And then for my placement, actually, why don't I just do all these and then I'll get my placement together. This is Bermuda Bay. So I love the black and the white with a splash of color. So I've gotten a lot of swaps recently, and Sharon, I did my swaps yesterday, so they're going in the mail. I'll bring them to the post office today so they go out first thing tomorrow morning. Sharon's our swap coordinator for our team group. So I have one swap that I did yesterday for that group. Then I have another swap I'm working on now. So for the new catalog. So with our pre-orders, we're swapping cards so we get different ideas. And then I love it because I don't obviously invest in everything. So that way I get samples with things I don't already own. So that's one of the perks I love about you know, being a demonstrator and being on our team. We do a monthly swap with each other. So Bermuda Bay, I embossed this with the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder, and it's 3 by 3 3/4. And then I didn't have any black ribbon in my stash. So this is just a piece of black cardstock, and it's 1.5 by 4. And I'm just gonna put this like a faux ribbon. And what's so funny is when I started designing this card is that I totally thought it would be a vertical card, and then it's ended up being a horizontal card. So it's actually gonna go this way. And I'm gonna put my pieces like this. I'm just gonna put this to the card base while I'm here. I'm just gonna grab some seal. I like to use seal with my white because no adhesive shows, so I'm really liking the seal for that. Okay, so I just have a basic black card base. Okay, so then I'm ready to get my rectangles on. Just use liquid glue. And then I'm ready to add my umbrellas, but I want to put my sentiment on first for my placement. So, and of course, since it's a black card base, I'd want to put a 4 by 5.25 white on the inside as well. So I think I did this opposite. I did the original, so that's kind of fun. So I want to put my sentiment kind of down here at the bottom because I want room for my umbrellas. So I'm going to start putting them on to get my placement. I put the watercolored one in the middle and kind of figure out where I want them to go, and then my little handles. So see, I want my handle up a bit so it doesn't interfere with the sentiment. And then in the original, I didn't even embellish, but I want to embellish this one with some matte black dots. So once I have my placement, I can kind of start adhering my layers down. Whoops. I should probably do my handle first because the handle goes on the underneath. So this is the hardest part. I've put these adhesive sheets on here and I just want to use my fingernail to get them off. Hey, good morning, Dee. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so I want my handle maybe about there. I already put glue on here, so I couldn't use that kind of as a guide, but now I can kind of use it as a guide for the others. Okay, let's do the handles. I hope you're all having a great week. Getting ready for the new annual catalog, so it's been a little busy. I got my stamp camp prepped. And for people that are long distance that took stamp camp for the well suited, that went out yesterday in yesterday's mail. And for my locals, I will be in touch with you today about picking up or dropping off. Okay, that one wasn't too bad. So this one's going to go the opposite direction. So I'm kind of using a mashup here. I have products from the annual catalog that's retiring and products from the January to June mini catalog that's retiring. Okay, then I thought this would be super cute to add the matte black dots. And they come in different sizes, so I'm gonna do a bunch of, one large and then a bunch of small. So I'm just gonna kind of move with my fingernail and pick it up with my take your pick. I'll do a large up top and then a bunch of small down the bottom. So I'm going to add those to the original, but I feel like that just gives it a little bit of oomph. Here is the original with no matte black dots, and then here's this card with some matte black dots on there. So kind of makes it kind of fun, a little bit more whimsical. So I felt like the diagonal paper was kind of like rain coming down sideways, and then I had to use the Ornate Floral with the flowers to match the flowers in the paper. So that is my card for today. I hope you'll give this a try with the watercolor spritz. And like I said, I did this one with the Under My Umbrella stamp set with the umbrella. So here's another idea with the watercolor paper. And then here was a couple other samples that I was playing around with where I stamped first and then I spritzed it with the water on the fluid 100 watercolor paper. So it kind of just gives it a fun effect if you're feeling a little artsy. And I guess that's it for today. I'm gonna put my April host code below. So if there's anything on the last chance list that you still have on your wish list, yeah, perfect for April showers. So April showers bring May flowers, but I don't know what April snow brings. And we did have snow here on Friday, so that was kind of a bummer. Everything is in bloom already since the weather's been so nice. And I don't think it really hurt anything because the temperatures didn't get super cold, but they actually had enough snow on the ground to plow, which was crazy for mid-April, but it kind of is what happens when you live in New England. Wait a bit, and this week I think it's supposed to get back to the 70s again, so weather's kind of all over the place this time of year. So So I'll put my April host code below if there's anything you want from the last chance list. Surprisingly, there's not a ton that has sold out yet, but some of the dies have sold out. I think most all of the in color, the retiring in colors have sold out. So if you have questions about what's still available, let me know. But most of the stamp sets will still be available right down to the end, since we manufacture our own stamp sets right in Utah. So I think that's it for this week. I'm just going to bring the camera back up at my face and close out. I am planning some things for the new catalog coming, the new annual catalog. So I am going to do a designer paper share. So I'm going to do with the 10 new designer series papers, not the stacks, but just the 12 by 12, and I have to look, some of them might be 6 by 6, but I'm going to have the details out this week for that. So if you're on my mailing list, and I'll also put the details on my blog. And I'm also going to do an in-color club. I've been thinking about this for a while, but I'm going to do, it'll be a 5 months. It'll be a 5-month commitment from May to September. And I'll have all the details out about that, of what you'll be getting in the in color, but it will be a chance for you to build your stash with the new in colors. And I have them all. They're actually right behind me over my shoulder, already in my rack here behind me. So I'm going to be playing with those and have all the details out. So if you're interested in that, let me know. And I can't actually order the products until May 4th, and I can't actually take money until the week of that week. So right now it'll be just let me know if you're interested in joining the In Color Club. So that's it for this week. Have a great week, and I'll be back next week with another Tea and Techniques episode.